Hello everyone and welcome to the Week 2 Stage 1 match between the Boston Downsizing and the Florida Harmony.
This should be a pretty good match for you. I don't believe I've casted the Downsizing yet.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. I think this is going to be a close match. Probably not a 4-0 from the two sets we saw yesterday.
No.
DC Dons went on a little bit of a tear. I'm hoping for some really close matches between the Downsizing and the Harmony this time.
And if we want to talk about that icon meta,
we are starting off with a strong Shanghai from the Boston Downsizing.
that is the strongest Serpent Ret I've seen today.
And the Florida Harmony is going to keep their Florida pride with Florida Mayhem.
You know,
Oops, may have stumbled onto their icons, though.
I think new meta is to spell stuff out with the letters.
That would be so good. I mean, how many letters do we have? We've got B, we've got S, we've got M. Let's go ahead and look at it. What can we spell?
Well, we can spell BM, so that's a good start.
Okay, BM, BM, BM.
Now let's scroll up, I think. B, we got M, we got SF, we got P, and we have technically an O with the Mayhem. There's no vowels. This might have been a mistake.
We could use Hearthstone, or a Nexus,
Or even the Gladiators one.
as an O.
Valiant have a V.
Are there any words that start with SF?
No.
Because unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have too much luck if we're gonna be spelling SFOB. In any case, we've seen a change in icons. Sephora is the only one holding on to that Shanghai. And well, we are going to get this game underway as soon as we get the rules in the lobby finalized. We will be starting on Numbani, so I'm hoping to see a lot of good Ana anti-dive action on the defense with some dive on the offense, unless both teams decide to take a different route.
Yeah, we talked about Numbani last time. And, it was a good map, I think. We saw some crazy ultimates because of the space. We saw some crazy good dive play and anti-dive, so... Really, Numbani, like you said, I think yesterday.
Yeah, I think, well, I think for either of the teams to do well, we're going to want to see some cookie-cutter compositions. Definitely some anti-dive on the high ground. The Orisa Ana Soldier Junkrat, I think, is going to be very strong if the team opts to run it. I think attack, they're going to have a little bit more flexibility. I would like to see a standard dive, although I think a Pharah Mercy with a dive would be very good.
Yeah, what we've seen in the past couple runs of this map, actually, is that whenever you run a Pharmacy into anti-dive, especially if they're running Junkrat, the boosted rockets do so much, and they can get rid of those static enforcements. Concussion Blast also, we've seen Orisa's booped off the high ground and displaced, and that will almost take a point right there.
Yeah, if you can separate the team by getting a Concussion Blast, like even just like between the team, just past the shield, it can cause so much mayhem as the players are just scattered. And that's great for dive, because if you've separated the players, if you all decide to jump down on one, they're good as dead.
And if we start seeing that prediction, we could also see some Widow play.
Yeah.
Which, this is also a big sightline map. So basically, everyone except Symmetra is pretty good on that.
I don't think we'll see Symmetra or May or any of those troll picks, although maybe we'll see a Bastion, maybe we'll even see a Torbjorn on these kind of defenses. Even in High Diamond and Master, you see some Torbjorns and Bastions from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, Bastion works really well in here with the shields. Torbjorn less so. I think it's just more of a Pharah deterrent. I don't know. I get a lot of Torbjorns in the ladder, and I don't like it.
At least with an Orisa shield, there's something to work with. Although we hopefully won't see any troll picks. I would like to see some crazy picks from time to time. Maybe like a Doomfist would be very fun.
Yeah, I always love seeing Doomfist. Brigitte maybe today? I don't know.
It's possible. Though, I think, again, it will be best for each team to take just a cookie-cutter composition, given the how more important teamwork and communication is over than niche player choices.
So I'm assuming we're going to get started pretty soon here.
Yep, lobby's filled up. It looks like we actually have subs for both sides, so these two rosters may in fact change throughout the series. I hope we can take it to a game 5.
Yeah, that would be really nice. We haven't seen many of those.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the game 5 map is. We've seen, I think, both maps for each game mode, but not game 5. This should be good to go very soon. As we finalize the just little touches.
Just a couple things to do. So anyone else hyped for that event tomorrow?
I am excited beyond belief. I hear there's even a payload map behind it.
Yeah, that's not going to be finalized. It's going to get set to PR, but I want to see how well they've done on that map. Kind of a surprise, honestly, that them creating a whole map for an event.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. I know it won't be into like quick play quite yet, as you said there will be PTR testing for it, but I'm always down for a payload as long as it's not Junkertown. The PvE event should be very fun as well.
Yeah, it actually looks really fun. They've got a bunch of different unit variety. There's basically a heavy with 2 guns.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
There's gonna be a ninja that can like teleport or like turn invisible.
I'm calling that being a Genji skin.
That would be very
cool. I really
cool.
think that's one of the skins that's coming.
I just wish all of these would be playable heroes, unfortunately. I know that's not how Overwatch works.
Could you imagine a PvP mode where one team is Talon and the other's like set Overwatch heroes?
That would be amazing.
That'd
it would
be
be like a man
great.
versus machine where you could play as the bots. I think that would be so much fun.
Why don't we just steal everything from TF2 while we're at it? We know Blizzard can do it better. So
Yeah.
That's a bit controversial, but
well, not anymore. Not since the Meet Your Match came in, as TF2 tried to then copy Overwatch back and then became unplayable. But that is neither here nor there.
Yeah, I've heard some bad things.
Yeah, I think the PvE is one of my favorite modes to play in Overwatch. I love when Junkenstein's around. Uprising event last year was so fun. It really reminds me of a Borderlands style of like the 4 players versus the world.
I'm really hoping that they start adding lore to the game permanently, like all these event modes, because look how much the community likes the PvE. I know you want to make as much money as possible and get people playing the game more during the events, but I would think they'd make just as much if they just added new ones each year and left the others playable.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun if like the loot boxes are only available that time, but the rest of the time, at least have it available as a custom game.
Yeah.
Because I would love to practice headshots as McCree against Junkenstein bots.
And if you want to add lore to the game, everyone's complaining at Michael Chu. Just put missions in.
Yeah.
That's a good way. Like, the fact that they're doing this, Overwatch in a couple years could have a single-player campaign. And looks like we're finally done placating the masses. I think we're just having some setup issues right here. As nice as the Overwatch custom game browser is, it's very confusing to operate.
Oh yeah, if you've ever run a custom map, you understand exactly what we're talking about. The rules are so arbitrarily placed within different subsections. It is just so strange trying to find the particular options. It's nothing strange that we're having some trouble.
I got yelled at in a scrim once because I couldn't set something, and I ended up just leaving the match. Somebody else had to take care of it.
That's a mood.
Because wow.
It does look like kill cam is finally off, and we should be good to go. Kill cam being off in competitive is standard, as it gives you a little bit too much information once you get killed, based on like where your attacker's positioning was, or maybe like where Symmetra's teleporter is if someone for some reason is playing Symmetra.
Yeah, a lot of stationary defenses.
Traveling to Mumbai.
But it also go on.
No, it's fine.
We are
gonna switch into the game right now.
on Temple of Anubis. Not quite sure how that happened. But we're gonna go back to the lobby, and now it's on Junkertown.
Okay. They may have the map set in a random order. Yeah, there might be some stuff there. As you were saying, the kill cam being off is necessary.
Yeah, but yeah, what I was going to say is, I think it's more important once you die to immediately be viewing what your teammates are viewing. As we finally move into Numbani.
Oh, it's been too long. Too long since I've seen these city streets.
And how long has it been since these poor OR-14s were destroyed in Numbani Airport?
Oh, months. And honestly, I'm really mad at the Numbani Travel Committee for not fixing this. Can you imagine flying in and seeing this thing in the wall?
Oh, it is an OR-15. Never mind.
Fun fact, OR-15... Oh, this is probably not really a fun fact. OR-15 unit that was upgraded into the RISA, OR-15A, if you take those letters and turn them into numbers, OR-15A, RISA.
Wow. And here's the flights. I would imagine they're all canceled if the hotel continues to be, or the airport continues to be in this disarray.
And we were saying no to that, but look at this.
Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a happy face.
Default skin, no less. Oof, that is the face of someone who has never touched me.
And for good reason. Please, Jeff, make this character viable.
I mean, the fixes made it better, but also made it. And Phantom Pulse. Is that?
He's okay. He's Lucio. He's gonna get right back onto the point. Interesting that we're gonna see a dive defense from Downsizing. I really like this.
Was that a bait?
Maybe.
He killed himself as Lucio, and now
Now
he's coming
Diva.
back as Diva.
You thought we had a Lucio, but no, it's Zenyatta. Very good for the dive. I'm glad that they're running Mercy over Lucio instead of Zenyatta.
Yeah, we have pretty consistent, pretty similar dive comps, although we have Pharah on the offense.
I like this positioning. The healers are hiding at the top, and the tanks are hiding in here. They are a little bit separated, and that may cause some issues, but I do like how they're all hiding out of view. There is a Pharah, Atheist Jesus, coming around the corner and with the skin.
Is gonna hurt.
He's spotted the Genji. Sephora doesn't take too much damage though. Zen does get spotted and takes a big hit. Oops, so low. Winston's taking him down as well.
There's a bunch of fighting in the back. We have Tracer and Winston on the point. J-Shake goes down.
And now there's Mayhem, but Skip Bayless goes down to the Oops. As he is able to defend himself. Issa takes out Jeff's mech. Phantom Pulse's mech goes down as well. But it looks like they are figuring out how to get this hold, especially with Mercy going down to that Genji.
Interesting that Sephora is the one who's having to combat the Pharah, but
oh, and a nice direct hit reflect. Lemley gets the kill out of all heroes. And J-Shay takes down Hunkrat. This is going to be a cleanup with somehow a tick actually gained.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did not notice that. I mean, they were chased off point. A lot of the fighting happened in that little room behind.
Yeah, perhaps while they were all fighting over by these stairs, this tick was capped. But still a solid hold.
You can give up as much space as you want as long as you hold that point in the end, although that is going to make it slightly more difficult on the offense.
Ooh, no. Hoops is stuck in the middle with no one around him. He's going to take a little bit of splash damage, but he will be okay.
And this is terrifying. Most of the push are down behind.
The boosted Mercy. That's just BM. Here comes a Mirage. That's going to get 2,
My God.
3, team kill.
Yeah.
That's going to be a cap.
That'll do it. We've seen so many good ults on this point. I don't know why.
I don't know, maybe it's a clutch factor of closing out the one capture point of a payload map.
The payload must be moved to its destination.
It looks like Koner's going to try and make some space for the rest of his team as Jeff resets to get a new mech. But there are a lot of ultimates on the side of the Boston Downsizing that, if they play well, should secure them a nice defense.
Yeah, they will have all 6 to
My
work
ultimate is almost ready.
They've got a pulse bomb. They've got actually all 6 ults coming up. But this Pharah is going to be an issue. Oops, we'll be discarding her whenever possible, but they don't have any hit scan to directly deal with her.
Yeah, the biggest question is, how do you contest Pharah?
The closest thing you can really do is discord with a Tracer, but that's so dangerous as I think damage boosted Pharah shots do 1 hit. Yep, that is almost going to get Jeff out of mech. Diva mech does take Hunkrat down. And here comes Valk from Issa.
Counter Valk.
Looking like Florida Harmony are gonna commit to this fight, and unfortunately, with nowhere to go, Issa will go down. Jay is next to fall. Yep. My name's Jeff.
Let's get you back out there.
I think we've seen in the Overwatch League a few times, introducing Pulse Bomb, a Diva Bomb thrown out just to get a Far Mercy, as it's so hard to get away from that.
When you don't have anything else to contest them, it's honestly worth it.
Yeah.
You have to drop it. It's very hard for Mercy and Pharah to drop if they are by themselves.
Now, Phantom Pulse is going to not have Diva Bomb for a little bit.
Thanks for the
It may be necessary. Jay goes down to Micro Missiles, and Atheist Jesus has another barrage. Is there anyone to look up and stop him? Set4's low health, he's going to get taken out, and oh no!
That may be a little bit of an ill-advised trans. You had to drop it, you knew that something was coming, but now you don't have anything to stop that barrage.
Yep, his tanks were alive, but maybe it wasn't the best idea. Ooh, but a nice kill on the Diva and the Mercy.
The Pharah, though, still living that.
Yep, she is forced to back up though. Atheist Jesus is backing out, still has barrage. Hunkrat has his ultimate, and Jeff does as well. Lemley's gonna need to be really careful with his shield placement. He might need to wait to use it until a Diva Bomb comes out. As we saw, Jeff's Diva Bomb kind of secured them the point earlier.
And Harmony have been really good about using these dry runs, about not committing too hard to pushes, not sending in too many ults, and look at how many ults they almost have to work with. 4, pushing on 5 or 6.
Into the unknown.
There comes Hunkrat's Transcendence. East is very low.
And here comes the investment and a huge triple from Atheist.
Phantom is going to get chased down by Skip Bayless. And now with the Diva Bomb, this might be a secured third point. Unless people can contest fast enough. Jay does have ultimate. Maybe she can do something with it. Issa's got Valve.
That's good positioning.
Oh, and it gets two. Not even sure where they were.
Fantastic airburst.
They were actually inside this spawn room. What a good angle on that Diva Bomb. Blade is out, but Mercy is Falcon, keeping people up and healthy. Corner does go down though, and there's no res on deck.
That Blade in the air, that was a good try to the board, but there's not enough to stop this push.
Phantom Pulse goes down, but the stall is still here.
And this is probably going to be curtains for the downside. How much time they can save right here.
Yep.
You're not getting
Brutal
anywhere.
rocket.
75% towards the next barrage. Lemley's on point with Zarya. Still just living a little bit longer.
Honestly, the Zarya choice is really smart right here. You're building up that energy. Oh my god. Okay. 15-player kill streak. Uncontested. This is why the Harmony have pushed so far. Another barrage!
Set4 finally takes Atheist down, but at the cost of his own life, and the point is capped regardless.
Now, why did it take them that long to switch to a soldier? How did Pharah have 18-player kill streak?
3. Switching sides.
That was just some crazy Pharah play right there. And as seems to be the case in this league, uncontested Pharahs win games.
Far Mercy is very strong in these SR areas where hitting splash damage projectiles while damage boosted is much easier than getting hit with a soldier or a McCree from very far away, especially with fall-off damage the way it is. I do like Boston Downsizing trying to stay with the dive. It's very possible to beat a Far Mercy with standard dive, otherwise dive would not be as prominent as it is. But given how poorly it was going, they might have needed to switch to a hit scan a lot sooner, or at least had the Diva try and contest the Pharah more often.
Or even had their own Pharah Mercy, although that really is on the Pharah to see if they can get those issues.
Yeah, we do have Jaysay on the, or Jayshay and Asa on the Far Mercy. We're gonna have a Genji as well. I like this dive. No Zenyatta though. They're gonna have a speed boost to try and make up for that. And look at what we have. We're gonna be running an anti-dive with the Bastion.
And we'll get
Bastion
this
is
just
the
fine.
biggest anti-hero in the game.
Yep, he's very anti-tank, anti-health. 500 damage a second in his turret form. It's pretty devastating, especially how long he can keep firing with 300 ammo now. Remember the days when Bastion had low spread and could headshot?
Remember the days when Bastion had his own
It is
personal shield.
remarkable to find a
I
Bastion in such an
luckily didn't
open
play then.
condition.
But look,
Who is responsible
Bastion's got a
for
nice
the
little hat.
He looked so happy with
5,
things on the side.
3,
Those are probably eyes.
I don't know.
1. Attackers
Boston
incoming.
downsizing on their way
Defend
out of the gate.
objective A.
Let's see what ankles they take.
The Uprising Pharah skin's one of the best skins, I think.
It's very nice. It's very similar to her normal Pharah skin, but the nice yellow accents are pretty good. She does get pulled around, does survive though. You're gonna have to deal with this Orisa barrier somehow.
Right now, up to Jay's face, you can get around that barrier.
Yep, she's taking nice angles, not to get any hits. Meanwhile, Sephora needs to go up there and cause trouble of her own.
But in order to get there, she has to get around so much open space.
And with 3 blinks, that was possible. Not quite sure what the Tracer is doing here, as everyone's up there on the high ground. Sephora needs to go up there and contest it.
Just waiting for the team to contest.
All the players of the boss downsizing are on the point, and it looks like they're going to force the Harmony up to them, but Harmony was willing to accept the challenge.
And it was a good try, and you did have the win for shield, but fast, shredded percent, and most of the rest of the team.
Yep. Sephora does end up with a kill, and alive to boot. The kill does get rezzed, but Pulse Bomb could be so important.
Exactly, that might be the one reason they committed like that. Sephora now has his Pulse Bomb, and he can get around the top, which he's in a good position to do right now. He can take down that entire encampment and let Boston on the point.
Yeah, that could take out not only Bastion, but also the 2 healers.
And this is some Breath of the Wild level.
Hopefully you have the Sheikah tunic equipped.
Get a sneak strike.
I'm on the objective. My position.
Used all the blinks, but
Oh, that was a bit premature, and now they know where he is.
yeah. Unfortunately, Sephora used blinks just to get up here and didn't have enough to get to the Bastion before the Bastion noticed.
That's just
And Sephora is going to give up the hidden spot to rejoin the team. I don't think that was very smart.
no, he ran out without his blinks,
Yeah.
and that kind of is what stalled her up.
And I think it would have been better to have stayed in that hidden position. Speaking of hidden position, we do have Phantom-Pulse actually right behind the point. It doesn't seem like the Harmony know.
How did they get there?
It's a good question.
Okay, so now you just have to wait 40% and let your ult charge.
But Phantom-Pulse gave away their position. And now there's Zafara, but this is a fight you can win Phantom-Pulse if you so choose to take it. Doesn't look like that will be the case though. Ultimate economy is fairly even, but is in the Harmony's favor. A nice E to try and pull people off, but doesn't quite work out. And there's the Pulse Bomb!
That's exactly what Downsizing needed.
Somehow, Concussive Blast killed Lemley. But, in any case, this was a very good start. Jay ends up getting Cosmo. And now, with a nice direct body shot onto Atheist Jesus, looks like Boss Downsizing can try and finish off this fight. Another direct hit, just one more will get this kill. And there it is.
JJ has the barrage up. We've seen the pop of the Transcendence. This would be a huge point-taking barrage.
Oh, but you hear that? That's Bastion ulting. Here comes a Pharah ult. Even with the defensive buff, it will go through Koner's armor.
That was huge. They're getting a dogfight in the air. Goes to Atheist. Goes down to Sephora. It's just Atheist on the point.
And at 14 health, Jay survives. Sephora finishes off the kills.
Sometimes you don't even need to hit the enemy bar. Sometimes you need the bottom of the enemy bar so the rest of your team
Yeah.
can just shoot it from below.
Objective A captured.
Point A capped. This is looking like a winnable game, or at least a winnable as far as the third point goes.
I'd say even
Yes.
right now. It just depends how strong their stock is. I think Boston did struggle a bit against the Bastion, but and there were some questionable choices. But after they got that pulse bomb connected, it was all clean up from there.
Yep, and now there is no more Bastion. Koner is on the Tracer.
Probably a good switch, all things considered.
Yep, it is much harder to get to phase 2 and defend it as well. Koner is going to start testing the payload, but at 100 health, is going to have to back out. Atheist Jesus has ult, and there's so many low health targets, and gets Asa, gets a Diva mech. Phantom-Pulse might be next. Yep. Harmony is pushing Downsizing into their spawn, and poor Lemley gets caught out.
JJ trying to do that, but it's a little too late. The entirety of the spawn Downsizing is down.
Regroup in spawn is what they'll need. No switches, as the far 1v1 will continue. We'll stay away from those walls. Splash damage can get Pharah if you can't land those direct hits. And Here comes the fight, and it hits the spear of the statue instead.
In lieu of having to get these dogfights can honestly be the best way to play this because you get the power through away from the ground-based targets.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the ground, Asa and Cosmo go down. That's a healer from both sides. D.Va Bomb does get J-Shape, but the kills are still mostly in the Downsizing's favor. Atheist Jesus at 34 health, and no healer is going to get ticked down by Fanables.
Kick down and run over.
The payload is moving once again, and this might have been enough to secure the second point, but Harmony
60
may be able to
seconds
contest it.
remaining.
I don't think they're going to. It looks like they're going to try and focus defense at this point.
Doesn't look like that is the case.
Unless they're going to drop down on the low level.
Nope, they do not have enough time, and now they've put themselves in a precarious situation. Skip Bayless at half health is going to go down. Very smart to not use Primal Rage.
Nothing getting Skip Bayless with the jump. Jetpack kills. I want to see that card.
Not a lot of damage that does, so it must have been very low.
So right now, Downsizing are at a time deficit, but they've been really good pushing it ever since they keep payloads.
Yep. Now
it
they,
really comes down to that first point take.
to keep this in a winnable state, they do need to cap this third point before...
What is going on with
Whoa!
Atheist? Jesus.
We didn't even see that. Not even barrage, just normal shots killed both Pharah and Mercy. As I was saying, Downsizing is going to need to do this before time goes to overtime to keep this winnable, but with plays like that, Atheist Jesus is going to make it very difficult.
It looked like he used the rockets and got rid of both the pharmacy and a tracer, I believe.
Which is just so much value. Ooh, and a nice pick onto Koner. Zephyr is going to start this out as 6v5, and with Pulse Bomb coming up, maybe we can get a good clean fight from Boston.
Bars distracted straight to dashing right now.
And a D.Va Bomb doesn't get anything, goes up too high and over a barrier. Skip Bayless is going to have Primal Rage to keep the point contested. Asa is going to Valk and is going to res Oops during it, but unfortunately, due to the slowdown with the res, is going to get taken down. And Boss Downsizing commits to the barrier. Not a good idea once you've lost so many players. This is a time when you need to reset. This is not winnable through the spawn advantage.
Yeah, trying their best, but right now it's just Phantom Pulse, and we're going to see him back out. But that was not a good investment of that sound barrier at all. You have no support ult for your final fight. Honestly, you have no ults left for your final fight.
They do have J-Sha's Barrage, but look at how many ultimates are on the side of the Harmony. And look at this positioning. Hidden so that no one will see it coming. Atheist Jesus and Cosmo are ready to have a devastating last fight.
10 seconds remaining.
Looking for their moment. Atheist Jesus.
Wait, drop that.
And there it is. It mostly gets blocked though. The D.Va Bomb does come out. Phantom Pulse kills Atheist Jesus in the process, but is out of mech. Now it's going to become a much closer brawl. J-Shay took down Koner and has a barrage. If this is a good barrage, like right now during the res, that should have been the time.
And he gets the reload. The reload stopping any hoping for them.
Here comes the barrage, but through the trees wasn't able to see any targets. And here comes Hunkrat to keep everyone healthy.
That barrage might have just been a last-ditch effort because it's so close to that payload point. It looks like this is going to be a stop.
D.Va on the point is going to get two though. Oops is going to take down Skip Bayless, and maybe Boston can actually finish this out. Oops is actually going to get another barrage. I mean another barriers. So even though he used it before, he's got another one right here, and that Lucio's looking pretty low. Pulse Bomb comes out, doesn't hit.
Just straight to the point.
And Koner at such low health, still alive though. Oops, we'll have to commit to these barriers soon. Atheist just on the May for the stall.
Been forced off the barrier just because of how dire the circumstances have become.
Thanks for the assist.
And now J-Shay does have free range, takes down Atheist Jesus. Got Hunkrat in her sights. Nice, 2 direct hits.
Getting all these hits. We're very close to a barrage.
Oh no, but a D.Va Bomb is gonna come out and they have no barriers. That's gonna get both Barb and Mercy. But it's still winnable, or at least finishable for Boston.
Invest in the sound barrier to get rid of Jeff. Any value will have. Comes back on the point, followed by Atheist.
No, Phantom Pulse does have D.Va Bomb. Here it comes. There's no barrier in sight yet. And it does get 2. That's another high-value D.Va Bomb from Boston.
And we see the Batista coming out in the last stall effort from Harmony.
And look, Lemley just used ult. That's so big. The picks are just coming in now.
at this point in the match, overtime is ticking away, and that stall advantage is getting less and less prevalent. This could be the finisher.
And look,
for the
Jayshay's
Upright.
got another barrage. She can try and close it out here and now. There's a primal rage. But Boston team's looking so healthy. Final rockets are going to finish off Skip Bayless. No, he's actually still alive thanks to his Mercy.
And Zephyr with that big pick on the Mercy.
Yep, and then Skip Bayless as well. Jayshay's looking low though, but another barriers from Oops. That's such good value. The Maywall gets removed for some reason, and Jayshay gets 2. It is just Atheist left. Mayult does come out, but with no one to contest, they'll
enough
finish
time.
it.
Okay, this is another reason why people love and hate Numbani. That last point is brutal if you have this to get into the cycle where you can build ults and you don't get enough picks in time. So Boston's still not out of it. I believe the best they can do at this point is draw, correct? Or is there
Yes,
still...
that is correct. They have no time in their time bank, and the Florida Harmony have 2 minutes to try and get just 1 tick of point A.
Now, hold on. If the Harmony use up all their time and then on Boston's attack...
Boston will not have an attack.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
That is how these kind of capture maps work, both 2CP and hybrid. If you have no time in the time bank and the other team has over a minute or more, there will only be 1 attack round. We're going to see Lemley...
Attackers
I thought
incoming
you said one
in
attack
30
tour, right?
seconds.
if only. We're going to see Lemley on the Zarya. Seems to be a comfort pick, something that Lemley has been choosing in last case scenarios, but he got grabbed fairly quickly in that last fight and was able to secure the last fight.
How do you feel about running a Death Ball now? This is what we have right now. We do have the Pharmacy, but we also have Zen.
I think this is, in my opinion, one of the safest comps to run. I think they're not going to get countered by too many dive characters or too many like tank killers like a Reaper. I think this is the safest thing to go with. They've got hit scan, they've got Pharah. I wish perhaps maybe a Moira instead of the Mercy, but still, I think this is a very safe comp to go on.
And we see Slambulance coming in from the Harmony.
Yep, this is a lot of tanks, this is a lot of damage, but speaking about damage, Phantom Pulse takes out his Reinhardt counterpart, and with a bunch of tanks, who's going to contest Jayshay's Pharah?
That's exactly right. And that is actually proving to be the downsides right now for the Harmony. You forgot about the Pharah, and she's able to get so many picks while you're taking the rest.
Phantom Pulse goes down, but that's going to be only 1 down for the downsizing since Oops got rezzed. Cosmo's going to try and escape, but he's such low health and discorded that he's going to be taken down, and only a minute and a half left.
Not to mention, Cosmo will be fairly staggered, which will slow down their pushes a little bit as they wait for him to respawn.
Yep, and interesting, we don't see any switches. They're going to run the same comp. They know that the Pharah has caused so much trouble. They don't have any ults really coming up.
Ult economy in the favor of the downsizing as well.
Yeah, Phantom Pulse almost has Shatter, and that could be massive against these tanks. But they are going to do this different strategy. They're going to try and take the high ground.
And playing this comp in this tiny room is terrifying.
Yeah, there's not really much you can do, and that's not a fight you want to take. Jayshay very low, has Barrage, but needs healing. Both healers are down, though. And this, due to the fact that Boston didn't, like, realize that the push was coming in so quickly, ended up dropping this point. Visor is out, but it's not on the... Okay, it is on the point. Does get 2. Is Sephor going to save this point?
Very well made. That Shatter was really good, and now I don't know if he's gonna... He needs to buy so much time for the rest of...
Oh, and a clutch Transcendence. Asa could get the res. It does go off, and a barrage. It does get Skip Bayless. As long as Boston Downsizing can stay on this point while the rest of the team gets here, they could win this fight. Jayshay does go down, but so does Jeff. Here comes a grab, though. Is this going to be it? Munkrat's ult as well. Lumley goes down to a diva. And Harmony does take it, unfortunately, due to some poor positioning. Perhaps they couldn't get there fast enough.
I'm very confused about that, because I swore that Ryan was on the point, but they must not have been. This is probably that triple we missed. Given that it's a sharpshooter play.
Yep. Nice direct hit. Oh, and then because of the wall, it gets 2 for 1. They were so close together. What good direct hits. But honestly, that was a really close game.
It was, and Downsizing was doing some really cool stuff at the end there with the stall from Zephyr.
Yeah, I really do like the strategy for to take 4 tanks and take the high ground from the Boston Downsizing, but it wouldn't have worked if Boston Downsizing didn't move. I don't understand why they stayed on that high ground if they watched the tanks go up the stairs and around.
Yeah, I think maybe they were trying to get out of the way because they knew, oh, we're coming there, let's force them to come and fight us on point. But then you give them the high ground when you do that.
I mean, you do give them the high ground, but 4 tanks, that's not a fight you can win as a comp that isn't 4 tanks. So they should have relocated to a different high ground.
Yeah, there's also something that can be said about not only maybe some DPS positioning right there, if you had the far a better position to start shooting rockets down that corridor.
Yeah.
Once you saw the tanks coming up the stairs, or if you had the supports get into a safer position, considering they got taken out so early.
Yeah.
Then you might have had a winnable fight there.
The positioning on not only the DPS but also the healers, as they were the first to go, seemed to be due to possibly miscommunication, or I don't know. I just they needed to move as soon as they saw where the tanks were headed, because if you're not a mirror quad tank comp, that's not a fight you're going to win in a brawl.
And you need to make sure you give your peel to your healers. You need to make sure that your healers are your top priority, because if you're especially facing a comp as demanding to defend as Slambulance, you need to have those healers up, because once they go down, there goes your entire team. Pins to the bowling ball.
That being said, as you mentioned, the Downsizing defense was clutch and almost got that defense. The nice grab from the Harmony. Their strategy to stick to the tanks ended up working in the end due to the aforementioned positioning problems, but the fact that they did that and were able to keep their ultimate charge and ended up with the grab to win the game was very important for the Harmony.
Right. We are seeing some lineup switches. We are seeing Dev coming in for Jay on the side of the Downsizing, and I believe Pac-Man got at you coming in on the side of Harmony.
Calamity as well. Not in a Florida Mayhem icon, though, as he is a man of culture with a very fancy Pachimari.
That is true. When do we get the Pachimari All-Star team? I'm waiting.
Soon, maybe.
No, yeah, I'm not sure about the Switch, honestly. I'm more surprised on the side of on the Harmony than the Downsizing, because we did have some solid play, and I believe we're just switching up some DPS right now. Or are we?
Not entirely sure. I'm not quite sure why we've switched out Boston Downsizing's Farah, as she really did get a lot of work done. Perhaps positioning wasn't there, but I think it was going well, and it was a very even game that they only barely lost. But we'll see if the switches on both teams make any big differences. We are going to Hanamura for map 2, which I suppose is less of a Farah map, at least point B. You could probably run Farah on point A, but Widowmaker is such a problem on these 2 CP maps.
That she is.
I think from the Boston Downsizing, given the tanks that we saw on the last defense, we'll probably be seeing a Deathball comp.
That is pretty likely at this point. Hanamura, brutal choke, so you have to play around it.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't see another dive trying to go through the main choke point again.
Please don't.
There's so many other options for dive, but I feel like we'll see Lemley on the Zarya, as that is seemingly his favorite tank, and I think a Reinhardt Zarya on Hanamura attack is very good, as there's so much damage going through that choke that Zarya can get charged pretty quickly.
And then if you just have to put your bubble on Ryan as he goes through as well.
Yeah, that's just 80 charge for free at the beginning of the fight. Meanwhile, Calamity has switched to the Florida Mayhem icon.
True team solidarity.
Yep.
We should be getting started for you pretty soon here. Just getting some final stuff set.
Yep. Now for defense, do you think we're going to see the Widow from either team?
Yes. It depends if they have Widow players to play, but Widow is as we saw yesterday, Widow is a very good pick on this map, because if you have the better Widow, you tend to win.
Yeah, she's just so strong. And this is one of the maps where even Attack Widow is so good, as there's that one hut before the choke point where she can basically play uncontested unless there's a defending Widow. And then there's the what would you call the high ground on point B? The like catwalk.
Rafters, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the high place by the windows and on the top left
Not
when
to
you're entering
mention
the
on
point.
the little pagoda right outside, you can also aim in through and hit people on point B taking shots. So
Yep.
unless you have really defensive comps, like we're talking quick play Torbjorn, and Lisa, Widow is a very good pick for both attacking points. As well, I believe Widow on defense of point B, just you can cover every single window from the perches you have there. So Widow very good on this map in general. So
Yes.
it really just comes down to how many people play her
And to
how
what caliber.
confident are they. Exactly.
Now, as for defense tanks, I think we'll see anti-dive. I think that's very popular, and it's not only anti-dive, but it also works against Deathball to an extent. It doesn't counter it like it does dive, but it still is bulky enough to contest that kind of composition.
Roadhog kind of counters. Roadhog in himself kind of counters Deathball.
Roadhog counters people under 250 health.
Yeah, and even a couple over, like hooking up Reinhardt during his charge, for example. That is a death sentence.
Yeah. We might also see Deathball, but I don't... We did see some Zarya play from Harmony, but that was in quad tank, which, as I mentioned, do you think we'll see tripler quad tank on attack from Harmony?
They were pretty confident running it last map, but I feel like they're not going to run with that immediately.
Okay.
I
Because
feel like it's risky. Because if you get yourself in the mindset that it's going to work and it doesn't work, it's somewhat hard to switch off of it.
yeah, it was almost their downfall on their Numbani attack, but some very good strategy ended up giving them the win.
I've really noticed that on both sides, really, we're not seeing as many quick switches or necessary counter switches as we have seen in the past. Harmony like to stick to comms for the round, and so the downsizing. So,
Which I appreciate, because I think the comps they've been running are very solid.
they are.
But if there is an issue like Atheist Pharah throughout the map that you have yet to contest, I think maybe putting on a soldier with the Mercy instead would be a good option.
Right.
Or having a return Pharah.
Yep, and the thing is, it's really hard to hit that fine balance. You have to hit this balance between switching to, because if you switch too frequently, you don't get ults.
Yeah.
If you don't switch at all, you can provide very little value to your team in the worst case. You have to hit that sweet spot where you get your ults fast enough, but also switch if need be.
Yep, and this league is all about learning that kind of high-level gameplay among your peers. So it's good that we're watching by example.
Exactly. I feel like, see, I'm not even one of the best players around here at all. I am mid-low plat, but I'm definitely learning myself just from watching and casting these games. And we hope that we can inform you all too if you are interested in doing so.
Yep. Now it does look like there was a crash from Lemley. The game will be booted up soon, and we will get this match going. Lemley just loading back in.
Someone needs to nerf Sombra.
Sombra, new buff, hacks people out of the lobby. Although with the Sombra buffs this season, Sombra in the Overwatch League as well, just seemingly unstoppable.
Yeah, I really do appreciate the new Sombra play coming out. I think the biggest change for her isn't even just the hacking changes, because those are really welcome. It's honestly tightening up her spread.
Yeah.
Letting her deal even a little bit more damage is devastating to enemy teams now, because she can actually play as an offense hero.
Yeah, the fact that she
Traveling to
is
Hanamura.
a DPS now, instead of a weird off healer, I think is very good for her.
Plus, in a pinch, she can also be a healer.
Yeah.
If you have a Moira Sombra on certain defense maps, that can work.
As long as your team is correctly playing around a health pack. For example, Hanamura defense, not a great place to have a defense Sombra as a main healer.
No, because your best health packs are right here in this room, which is the 200 health, but it has a longer cooltime, and the little room down this way. You also have a 75 health pack.
Yeah, the positioning just isn't there for her.
It's so far away from the choke. Even the one in this room, if you, the room behind you.
Over in here.
Yes, even if you use this health pack back here, you can get trapped in here because you have people coming in through the choke. It's too long of a trip. Now, there are other maps where your health packs are right around your chokes or right around your points.
But if you're going to run an attack Sombra, this is a pretty good map for it. You've got 2 big health packs.
Attackers
Throw your
incoming
translator
in 30
locator
seconds.
over the choke, get a nice EMP. But that's not any kind of play we're going to be seeing today. We're going to see Dev on the Mei, and we're going to have a Death Ball defense.
I wonder if
gather
this
some
was a
valuable
specialized
data on
switch
this
because
mission.
of the map.
It may be.
Maybe.
Haha, Pajame is the name of that new skin. Now we do have Asa on the Mercy and Oops on the Zenyatta. The comps are very spread though. Not quite sure what Phantompulse is doing on the ground
Defend
alone.
objective A.
Yeah, and we don't see Death Ball playing together in a Death Ball, which is kind of weird. I think what they're waiting is for one person to approach.
But May's not in a position to put up a wall. Like, you do that, but it's not as efficient as if she were right behind the wall and then have like a charge into it. But they are gonna win this fight.
Yeah, they are winning the fight. I don't know how I feel about not having a Roadhog.
I mean, I think these 2 tanks are very good. They're not running anti-dive. I like Lemley on this Zarya, as we've seen it perform well in the past. But I think their positioning could be a little bit better. They are winning. They won the first fight, but we'll see how long they can keep it up with this very spread out.
We may have someone behind point here. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I don't think. Oh, yeah, we do. You're right. Calamity has actually taken a little spot in the back, and look at how many targets are on the point.
Also, this may be an ill-advised offense right here. You are playing against the entire team.
Oh, but Oops is so low, and Mercy's not turning around to heal him.
And without that heal, Calamity getting some value on point.
Oh, and the res gets Asa punished instead. Now they only have a Zenyatta. If you're gonna have one healer, Mercy is the one to have. Unfortunate lack of communication and Peel is going to give Florida Harmony the point.
Look how much damage Tracer can cause if they don't deal with it quickly. Calamity almost single-handedly getting an opening and takes the entire point.
We're going to move in and some switches on the side of the downsizing. 2 main tanks. No, Dev is actually going to be on the Sombra.
And
This
everyone.
is a little bit easier to run on this map. But the big person to watch right now is Phantompulse. He has Earth Shatter, hopefully to stop any kind of snowballs.
And that was really convincing Phantompulse before the on the point.
And a nice hack onto Calamity. Can't blink if you're hacked.
Big Shatter!
Does somehow misses everyone. No Genji and no tanks. Dev is going to go down to a Diva Bomb, and it is just Sephor on the point, taken down swiftly.
And this actually could be it for the downsizing.
Unless Harmony doesn't cap.
True, yeah.
There was a solid 20 seconds where they just opted not to fight on the point.
And now Phantompulse is getting picked. That might not have been the best positioning from the Harmony.
And this hubris is going to lead to them not taking the point, at least for now, as it's given Boston Downsizing time to recuperate.
A little bit of time, but there's still a strong Harmony presence going on right now.
Yeah, spawn advantage can only give you such an advantage. But Sephor is on the Tracer now, causing a little bit more ruckus. Oops and Dev go down though. There haven't really been any picks in favor of Boston.
Kill team all red.
Red with the blood of the downsizing. Asa goes on as the Moira, but another tick goes in Harmony's favor. Dev is going to be able to contest for a little bit longer. Oops as well. It's at 99%. Sephor gets the pick onto Calamity. But Phantompulse goes down. But this might be a stabilization.
I think will be that was a great cardization from May. May and Sephor teaming up and getting systematically eliminating the rest of the Harmony on point.
That could have been a longer stagger, but Boston Downsizing is happy enough to actually hold at 99%.
99.1. Crazy.
What a clutch ice block from Dev to hold that for just a little bit longer. They're going to secure themselves at least another team fight.
And I hate to say it, but if the Harmony had stayed on point, they would have won.
Oh yeah, if they had been capping instead of all 6 being at the spawn doors, they would have already won a minute ago.
Now, we don't know how well that's going to play into the later rounds, but we can say that this is at least a good advantage right now for the downside. At least makes things more winnable.
Yeah. Now we do have a lot of ultimates on both sides. Atheist Jesus should be looking for a good blade to try and start this fight. He's spotted the Boston team. And Dev is going to have Mei ult though. That could add a lot of time. Oh, it's gonna use it now with an Earth Shatter. Not quite sure why they comboed those ults as Mei's Blizzard actually canceled out Earth Shatter.
Yeah, it was a bit of a waste, but at the same point, Blizzard and the Earth Shatter did force out a couple of ults from the Harmony. We saw that Diva Bomb getting no one.
Yeah.
Are we getting a switch?
Lemley is going to go onto the Winston and Vanipulse onto the Diva. They're going to be running a dive defense with Dev still on the Mei, which may work at least for stalling.
Yeah, I think they really want to have the main just.
Here comes the Dragon Blade. He's spotted. Oops. With that dash, he's going to try and get Vanipulse out of the mech. He does get it. That's not going to give him an extra dash though, as mechs don't count as people. Mesa does go down. Tracer is low. Sephiroth goes down to a dash and a melee, possibly. And this is looking pretty harmonic.
And they dropped that ult. Winston didn't have bubble, and that's going to take out both Lemley and Oops.
And a body block is going to stop Vanipulse from getting onto the point. Still, though, due to Harmony's perhaps hubris or lack of communication, they only had 2:30 instead of 4 minutes.
I just noticed there, Diva doesn't have 600 health. She has 599. Because the mech has 1 health when it dies.
That is true. I wonder if that actually plays into the game.
Probably not.
I remember there was a time for a while where Mercy had an effective, what was it, 205 health?
Something like that because of her regen time.
Yeah, her regen was always active when she wasn't taking damage, so getting shot would include that little bit of healing.
So when you yelled at your teammates, just kill the Mercy.
It's harder than it thinks. You have to get 5 more damage. It's most frustrating for a Reinhardt player where Earth Shatter, Fire Strike, melee wouldn't even finish off a Mercy.
Yeah, is it the Storm Earth and Fire combo?
Yep. Now we're going to be seeing another Death Ball. Dev is staying on the Mei. Not quite sure what the strategy is unless there will be a switch.
I
Now,
wonder if he's a Mei like specialist.
a main.
A Mei.
Now, I don't know if you remember the strat from Season 2, but there was a time when Triple Tank was very strong,
Oh, I
but
do.
Mei
Yes.
would wall tanks off here.
Not just
Attackers
that, you had
incoming.
the Overwatch Community Cup stuff where you come up to this high point, Mei wall through the choke and create yourself high ground.
Yep,
to
this
attack
was
the
the
rest of the team.
attack Mei, counter Mei strat of Season 2. All the tanks would line up here and just go right over the choke. Maybe that's what we'll see from Dev. But speaking of Mei, Pac-Man God is on the Mei as well, and maybe that's exactly what we'll see.
And we're actually seeing solo tank.
5.
Interesting. Jeff is the only tank. It looks like Pac-Man is going to have to do some tanking of his own, but Mei is a tank, guys. We'll see.
And we are looking at an Ice Slammer right here with the Mei wall and the charge set. But without a Roadhog, we can pull someone in.
And with the Junkrat against the shield, we'll see how effective this Reinhardt is.
Oh, the Mei already goes down the
It does get resurrected, but Vanipulse gets walled off. Not quite sure why there's an attack Mei when the defense Mei is doing so much work. Now this is just such a good position from Calamity. He's doing some squats, keeping those legs nice and strong.
Can't skip like this.
Damage amplified.
He certainly is not. But again, his positioning is so good that there's not really anyone who can contest him. Definitely not. I mean, possibly Mei. Ooh, but this is why we have the attack Mei. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Vanipulse, but the rest of the team is able to filter in through this side. Lemley is trapped, and that will lead to his demise. He will get rezzed, but Asa will go down.
Whereas honestly, with the Zarya coming back up,
But with the Mercy going down, there's no sustain. I loved the idea, though. The wall, so that the team could go through here and end up going through the stairs or this left doorway. But unfortunately, Vanipulse got separated, and then the team tried to peel for him.
and when you have when you have two Meis, there's an interesting ice block mind game strats here you can get into as well. It's like if the enemy may create space, you can close off that space just as they go through it.
Yep, no more attack Mei though. And remember when we were talking about the dive yesterday? This is how you run dive on this
That's
point.
exactly how you do it. Go right to the back. You have your Winston dive with the forward.
Though you usually back your Winston up. Lemley went in alone. A very nice defense matrix to try and keep people alive, but they got the positioning right, but didn't get how dive works.
Oh, and then so sad. frozen. You're gonna deal with this guy, and that's
Hero
another
never
top
dies.
push.
Yep, and a stagger onto D.Va. Oh, not for too long. Hunkrat, thirsty for blood. What we
Good.
saw go wrong here is Winston was the only one to dive, which meant that he was just fresh meat for Hunkrat to discord and the rest of the team to obliterate. I do like how Boston Downsizing has switched to dive because of this Mei, though.
Even though Mei does kind of die, they are doing the right thing here.
This will protect us.
Yeah, it's much easier to get through a choke point when you're dive, as opposed to slow-moving tanks. And here's another good angle. Soldier, though, he's gonna have to find his own way around.
Maybe laying down some suppressive fire all the way from back here. Maybe doing it all. Has to stop. Once again.
Look at all of those assists against Vanipulse's mech. This just is not going Boston's way, as they're now super staggered and separated. And look at all the ults, 5 ults on the side of Harmony. Boston hasn't really, due to the switches they've needed to make, been able to charge them up.
Yeah, we may have a Valkyrie pretty soon, and we may have a
60
Sound Theater,
seconds
but the rest,
remaining.
you're gonna have to get some damage in those fights.
Interesting that Dev switched off of the Tracer when the rest of the team went to dive, because he's not able to go up with the rest of his team. Oh, and a Visor's actually poorly placed, isn't going to get a lot, and he's going to go down. Earthshatter again, though. He started last fight with it, he's got it again. Dev under assault from a Junkrat.
30 seconds remaining.
Ooh, and that Junkrat bomb is gonna be easy. This could be the end of the round. Let's see how any of them get here. We have a Riptire up too.
Yep, they should have enough time for at least someone to try and contest, but this Riptire could just say no to Boston. Interesting mind placement, but it got the job done.
And he's just waiting
10
to get
seconds
caught by that
remaining.
trap.
It is on the main gate, though, and not the route that we've seen Boston take. But here's the tire. Ooh, and it gets both healers. We do have a Visor from Dev, but blocked behind a Maywall. He does get 2 picks anyway, though. But is he the only one? A D-Mech on top of an Ice Block. Vanipulse is going to live for a little bit longer. He does run over Jeff, but
Oh, and
it's
that
not going to be
Maywall,
enough.
there's no way they can get around that. Even with the dive, they're gonna have to wait so much time.
Oh, but Vanipulse is still alive. Vanipulse has yet to be taken care of. Sephiroth gets Atheist Jesus. Are they gonna what? Vanipulse got a kill on Mei. Pac-Man God somehow let this happen. Now he's gonna have to go to the spawn room and think about what he did.
If we are to progress, we must claim the objective.
Absolutely astonishing
Speechless.
that Downsizing was able to clutch that out.
New defense point.
Hey,
Objective B.
he was kind of scary with them, man.
Yeah, that gun and that pistol whip is enough to apparently take out, what, a 1v3? Ooh, precarious spot against this Junkrat.
And it really was just not from the you have the tools.
Yeah, it would have been over immediately if D.Va had died.
Oh, that just shattered.
But as long as Boston doesn't use any ults, this is a very good dry run, as they got Shatter out at the very least. Calamity might go down as well. Does get away.
They're making great use of the Tiger.
Oh, but look at all the picks inside of the Downsizing. I'm not sure if this is a fight that they can win in the long run, but they can look to get a tick at the very least. Oh, so close to getting D.Va bomb for a new mech.
Manifold still living though.
Oh, and Dev's got the Visor. Pac-Man's gonna absorb as much as he can, but he's visoring into spawn. He's gonna keep people in there, and that's a tick for Boston.
That's really all they needed. And they used one ult, I think.
They used, I believe, yeah, because Asa switched to Mercy and was off of Moira. That may have been only one ult.
Very good run from the downside. Surprisingly, making things a lot closer than we thought.
Yeah. Now only 2 ticks for them to get left, unfortunately. Not too many ultimates coming up due to the switches.
And look at this ult economy we have. And Deep and
Pulse Bomb.
Tracer Bomb.
Yeah, Harmony should be able to hold this fight. Now, Boston needs to be careful not to get too ahead of themselves. They need to get some dry runs so they have the ult to win the fight.
But how many more dry runs can you do? Maybe one more, and then you're going to be running out of time. Calamity.
Well, as long as it's above overtime, you'll still have a chance. Calamity, though, misses the pulse bomb. Kills are traded back and forth. Dev is going to be bullied by the Winston though. Oh, but Levely used ult. Asa did bring Sephor back up, and Cosmo does go down. Levely's actually having a little bit of luck, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to take another tick. I think these were a lot of ults that should have been saved.
It was an ill-advised ult because that time of race would have been the difference between an overtime cap and an overtime loss.
They'll still have time though, they still have a minute and a half. But they really need to cap this before overtime to avoid a situation like last game. Dev is getting some damage, trading some hits between him and Cosmo.
We didn't comment on it, but I do like the honor switch coming out from the Harmony.
Yeah, and he already has Nano Boost. Ace has been switching a lot, switching between the Mercy and the Moira for some reason. I think that's cut into her ultimate economy a lot. I don't think that's a charge Boston can really deal with right now.
I'm taking care of them.
Yeah, we're only at 5%. We are not going to have Valkyrie the entire game. Oh, and this would be a huge tire.
It is going to miss though. Nice jump through the bubble. But Boston Downsizing needs to pick a target. Vanapulse is diving alone. They've decided to go against the Diva, but Lemley's got no health. Where's the rest of his team? The barriers are out too late. Oh, and Asa gets bumped away during the res.
Very, very poor ultimate investment right now for the Downsizing, and we have 30 seconds left. One push.
Oh, and Dev used Visor right now.
We have no hope for the Downsizing. The Harmony with their defense have been so strong, and they've been so good about saving ult. Pac-Man God still has self-destruct. Atheist Jesus also has another tire. Junkrat will have trans.
This is going to have to be ults versus really just mechanical skill.
And at this point,
Within our grasp.
Yeah, Baby Jesus notices that there's no one here, but here comes his tire.
and we are in overtime.
Oh.
Able to get on the point.
So many people nearby, but not fast enough.
And it's twice now that Boston has been so close and yet so far from the point.
Play of the game.
Atheist Jesus is going to get play of the game.
He's been stealing these so far. So fantastic. He's getting.
Well,
10-player kill streak.
he got a finishing blow with the blade. That was much more of a team-oriented fight than any one hero. This fight and the map was much more favored towards the Harmony this time.
True. I mean, look at those cards.
Yeah, they're all red. So, Boston Downsizing, they had a little bit more trouble. Their defense was pretty solid. They ended up with 2 minutes, on their defense, there were still 2 minutes left after they
Right.
lost the point. Although it would have been 4 minutes if Harmony hadn't been a little bit risky with their gameplay, getting away from that point.
Yeah, and I think the thing for the Downsizing right now is I'm noticing a lot of poor committal to dives, a lot of poor dive coordination. You're playing the right heroes, but not in the right way.
Yeah, you're playing the right heroes, and you're going into the right places. You're getting the right high ground, and you're going through the right choke points. But only one tank will dive. Like, only the Winston will dive the team. Only the Diva will dive the team. But you need everyone to go, and you need the healing to back it up. That not having Zenyatta for dive is really
And
crucial.
it's not just that; it really does come down to that timing. If you have your Winston dive in and your Diva's not ready, you have to wait for a whole nother cooldown. Diva and Winston, honestly, with their similar cooldowns on dives, if they don't dive together, they can get desynced.
Yeah.
And having those two desynced when you go into dives can be catastrophic.
Yep, it's not like melee wobbling or desync's a good thing. You
Yeah,
need your
no, it's
tanks
not.
playing the same thing at the same time.
Diva used to be able to dive the entire enemy team by herself, but she no longer can. Winston has a bubble, but it's only 600 health. You two need to be together
Yep.
in order to get those
With
points.
the DPS as well. We saw a lot of perhaps miscommunication, people scattered a lot, and we saw Florida on their defense should have defended point A. It
Yeah,
should
that
have
was
been a
little bit
shutout.
surprising.
But somehow, some way, a baby Diva 1v3 at the point
That was
long
impressive.
enough to get Boston Downsizing reinforcements.
The only questionable thing I can say for the Harmony right now is just how they've lost those 2 points.
Yeah.
There was a little like they allowed the uprising. Keep going to the uprising. They've allowed the downsizing to survive for too long on their points. They either get off the point to chase, but then don't cap, or Baby Diva survive
Yeah.
a May.
A May and a Junkrat.
Yeah.
That probably shouldn't have happened. But in any case, it would have been a Harmony a hold had it not been for that, which really tells you how less even this game was than Numbani.
Yeah. The Harmony have been running away with it. They have a lot of good momentum going right now, and they have been, I'd say, more coordinated as a whole than the Downsizing.
Yeah, I think a big thing from Boston Downsizing was the ultimate economy. It's pretty good overall, but in those last few minutes of attacking point B, they really ended up losing their cool. And I understand what their pathos was. They were thinking that there's not much time left, so we need to get whatever picks we can, and if we get one pick, we'll use our ults, whatever we have, and try to take the point. But it doesn't work like that on a point like Hanamura Point B. Spawn advantage is so staggeringly in favor of the Harmony that one pick isn't going to be enough. You need to get 2 or 3 picks, really before you start investing things if you don't have any ultimates.
Right, and without your team there to capitalize on those picks, you will just go down faster. I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things to take away is Overwatch is a game where you're not the hero. Don't be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
You are a hero.
But you're not the hero.
You're not the hero. You want to make sure, because we saw Lemley invest his primal rage early in the fight, just trying to knock people back in the spawn, but his entire team was dead. We saw Dev drop a soldier ult, maybe to get out, but with 20 seconds left in the match. It really does come down to, again, timing the communication and not wasting your ults.
Yeah, when it comes down to capping point and 2CP, point B especially, you need to have done your dry runs and picked up 5 or 6 ultimates before you can really invest everything and try to cap. They were close, but they ended up using too many ultimates after their teammates had been killed and before they had enough stocked up. Now, next map is going to be Lijiang Tower, it seems.
Apparently the Downsizing are going to win with the Switch because Cannon Father has self-proclaimed a wristband PS4 Overwatch controller.
Well, does he play with tilt controls?
I don't...
Watch out for my my Joy-Con play. My baguette Widowmaker.
My Ana with about 4 different teacups. That was my favorite one. I don't know how do you wire teacups up and have them do inputs?
It's wild, but game 3, I think I don't think it will be the decider. If Harmony wins, it will be either a 3-0 or a 2-1. Downsizing could turn this around into their favor. Maybe Cannon Fodder, their replacement, is another DPS player, because I would like to see Afara played on Lijiang Tower. I think we saw Afara on the Downsizing do a lot of good work, but we have a different player in right now,
Yeah,
so we'll see what their strategies are.
We've been switching around a lot of the DPS for the Downsizing.
Which may be causing more issues than fixing problems, as you don't have that static team to really work with.
I will say that, yeah, we did see Asa going out as well.
We did.
Which is interesting, because Asa was their dedicated Mercy Moira main heal.
Mostly Mercy,
Yeah.
but the main healer nonetheless.
We do still have Oops, who I believe is one of their dedicated off heals, and we do have Phantom Pulse staying in, who's their dedicated tank, or off tank. So we do have some dedicated players, but overall the question is, are these switches going to work out? Because not only are you switching your players around, you're actually having people come in and play roles that they may not be familiar with, or maybe may not be as comfortable on. Now, I could be wrong. They could have more flex than I'm giving them credit for. So we'll just have to see how these switches work out. Meanwhile, the Harmony, pretty consistent so far. I believe they have the same lineup as last map.
Yeah, they are pretty content with who they've been playing, unless they do make some switches right before the map. We're not going to see anyone in for now. And Game 3 will be starting off fairly shortly, but we're going to take just a little bit of a halftime break.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
And here we go, off
We-
to Lijiang.
Are back. Welcome to Lijiang Tower. Now, like Ian has said on other maps, all of these maps are rendered at the exact same time. So if we zoom out here, we'll see that the different levels of the tower are the different levels. Right up there, I believe, is Control Center.
Yep.
And down at the bottom, and here's Gardens, and down at the bottom we have the Night Market, which is probably around the other side.
Yep, there it
no,
is.
It's right there, yeah.
It's always so neat how that works. But also, as I said earlier, is that this is one of Far's best maps.
That is true. It's also one of Doomfist's best maps because he can apparently use ult and land on the tower and duel a Pharah.
Yeah, well, we probably won't see anything risky as that. We are going to see a Pharah from Atheist Jesus on Florida Harmony.
But we are seeing the dev play Soldier because they're probably predicting that switch. This is arguably the best Pharah map in the game.
Yeah, interesting that Boston isn't opting for a Pharah Mercy, like, like 1v1, 2v2. And instead are going to try and do hit scan.
Or are we? Dev is now ignoring all distractions.
But here's what I think about Pharah's is if you have Pharah's job is to do damage onto the ground. If a Pharah versus a Pharah, if one Pharah has to be fighting the other Pharah while that Pharah is attacking the ground, that Pharah is winning. If you have a hit scan to deal with the Pharah while the Pharah is dealing with the team, that Pharah is winning.
How do you feel about currently the Harmony running Moira with dive?
I think it's interesting. It's a lot of healing. I think it's nice if Hunkrat is going to exclusively damage boost Atheist Jesus. Now, thanks to a lot of boosts and picks, they are going to take this point relatively easily.
Phantom Pulse taking a little dive in the river to get back to his team.
Yep, this holographic digital river. Dev is trying to find some angles, but the fall off is just giving him no luck. It's so far away that there's not really doing much damage.
Yeah, right now you have to hope that you can build up ult and then use that to take out the pharmacy because it really is hard to contest when you have Pharah and Mercy paired up like that so far away.
Yep, and here's one of the most brutal parts. Pharah just shooting into the point. Phantom Pulse does take Jeff down though. And with no contesting from the rest of the Harmony, it is going to be a Boston point.
And Lumley's actually going to take down Hunkrat and Calamity.
Atheist Jesus finally getting attended to. Self-destruct on the point isn't going to get anyone. Maybe just to get a new mech, but it's too late for that.
Pac-Man got taken a weird way around, and are they pushing this far back?
And a very questionable visor from Dev.
Maybe a little bit cocky. Still though, percents are now looking even, and sometimes all it takes is a little bit of distraction to take the point.
Yeah. Atheist Jesus is going to have ult, and because Dev ended up wasting visor, won't have anything to contest the Pharah and the Mercy.
This could be a quick flip for the Harmony, depending on how they prioritize their targets.
Manipulse isn't even looking up, is going to take a lot of damage, not quite out of mech yet, but Cosmo's doing a lot of work, and Calamity's got a visor of his own. With some pretty wild wiggles, he is going to get a couple picks, and it is just cannon fodder on the point.
I sometimes feel like it's best to turn your sensitivity up to like 100 when you get a soldier ult.
Because you just got to make sure they're on the screen. This is going to be a relatively quick cap. Cosmo's not going to deal his Mercy. Hunkrat's probably fine. Here's the Diva Bomb, though. I don't agree with it.
And does he even get the escape? I believe he does, but you just force the ult.
Yeah. You should have just jumped off and regrouped, because then you would have had the ult for that fight. Or for zoning like this.
And there goes the ult.
Yep. There goes that mech. Dev and Sephora are going to try and get a good angle.
And we had Lemley pop his primal raid just to get out.
Yeah, this is, again, just poor ult usage, possibly due to communication, possibly due to not quite grasping the situation that they're in. But this is going to be a clean fight with not many ults used from Harmony.
No, Harmony are being very conservative, and we've got Cosmo getting close to Coalescence. We've got Calamity very close to his visor, and Atheist with the barrage, Jeff with the rage.
And also Downsizing is going to jump all the way to the right. They're going to try and just take the fight to the point, but that's pretty dangerous with Atheist Jesus on the barrage.
Dev is very close to having his ultimate right now, and that visor could let them take some ground.
Yep.
But they need to get it now. 87%. Harmony could go into a solid hold.
And look at how much little damage Atheist Jesus was taking because of the fall off. Here comes Atheist, he's looking for it. Oh, nice barriers to keep Dev alive, but he's in a pretty dangerous spot. Atheist Jesus gets one, gets two, does get visored, but maybe it was enough.
Dev still making great use of that visor right now. Triple kill from that.
And then with the res onto Downsizing is looking to flip this.
But is the flip enough right now? We are at 99% for the Harmony, and Boston have not had the best defense. That is, if they can even take this.
Oh, and Pac-Man God takes out a Diva mech. For some reason, there's been such little focusing of baby Divas when they need to die. And what was looking as a shoe-in for a flip is looking to maybe be a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, we're getting very even presence on both teams. Calamity very close to another visor.
Yep, and there it is. He's gonna go ahead and pop it. He's gonna get Dev.
Look at this target prioritization, playing around the Winston, knowing that the rest of his team can take care of it. Or maybe he'll just punch him in the face. 15-player kill streak, 100 to 57. Very solid hold from the Harmony.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, again, came down to not killing the baby Diva. They let the heroes stall for too long.
Target prioritization is huge. If you have you do want to stagger Diva, but you don't want to stagger her to the point that she can get her mech back.
Yeah, you don't want to stagger her when she's on the point that you're trying to cap. That is one of the only times where you need to go ahead and kill her, whether she's on a point you're trying to cap or on a payload you're trying to push. Now, Atheist Jesus is going to stay on the Pharah. We're going to see a Death Ball comp, which I like a lot, just going out onto this courtyard. And Calamity on the Widow.
4, 3, 2.
What's interesting from the Downsizing is Dev is going to be on the Sombra.
Capture.
I kind of like this. I really do like Sombra on control point now.
Yep, and this health back is very good for her to flip back and forth.
I also really like that Uprising skin.
It is pretty nice, if only the hair was the right color. Now it looks like Dev right now is just going to focus on health packs. No, she's going to go and try and get a flank. Spotted Calamity, no hack though. Interesting that Dev didn't opt to try and get Junkrat's abilities down. Atheist Jesus, meanwhile, uncontested, gets so many picks.
Pharah's best map, and Atheist Jesus, one of the most confident Pharahs I've seen today. Wow.
Yeah.
5 quick picks right there for him.
What Dev should have been doing is, as Sombra, as like a semi-hit scan, should have gone in and hacked Atheist Jesus. Or at least committed to taking out the Junkrat.
Oh,
Dev
and
goes
Dev's
down to
gonna
Cosmo, unfortunately. That's going to be another 10 seconds, and we might need a switch on the side of the Downsizing off the Sombra.
They are kind of close to EMP, and by kind of close, I mean halfway there.
Yeah, we are seeing a switch from the rest of the team, though. Looks like we're going to switch to counter Death Ball as well.
The hack can have some huge utility. If you hack Pharah, she does not have access to her jump jets or her hover.
Yeah, she just drops right out of the sky, which is the entire purpose of her. Cosmo is discorded, is low, but is going to get healed up. Jeff is low as well, though, and gets the final blow. Pulse Bomb on deck. Doesn't want the res to come out, is going to camp Reinhardt's body.
It's funny, but hacking Pharah actually turns her into Soldier from DSU.
Yeah.
And look at this cleanup from the Harmony.
Again, we're seeing the Tracer and the Sombra go around and do a lot of things. I guess Dev now on the Soldier. But no one's contesting Atheist Jesus. With both Sombra and Tracer, they should be, with the help of a Discord or taking down Atheist first, but they're dealing with him last.
And I said it week and week and week again. Uncontested Pharahs win games. How are you contesting Atheists right now?
They're just not. Uncontested Pharahs, uncontested Widows. Two of the most dangerous things in Overwatch. As well as a Riptire. Paired with a Barrage, Atheist Jesus will get one, but will get res.
And the res invested in Atheist Jesus too. They really are putting everything into this Pharah.
Yeah, then again, Pharah was the only one who died. Dead again, but at 91%, can Boston do anything?
They cannot. That was a fantastic ultimate right there. Good combination, and Calamity following up with all those Junkrat orbs.
Yep, 99, no time to contest.
Solid point take for the Harmony. Really just a quick 20 and a handshake.
There's Calamity's play of the game. I imagine it'll be after that Zarya combo.
It will. And it doesn't matter if you don't have your ult. Junkrat does 120 damage per bomb.
And with mine, that's 240. But he doesn't even need it. He's just going to shoot in and get the kills. And now we're looking all blue, as that is Harmony's current color. When we went into this set, I was hoping we would see a closer game, like maybe Game 5.
Yeah.
People were projecting maybe a 3-2 in the favor of Harmony, but we definitely wanted it to be much closer than it ended up being.
We did, and right now we're seeing this happen. Downsizing has gone through so many switches right now, and Downsizing has been consistently getting a little bit worse with each passing game, as far as their performance and as far as their communication.
Yeah.
I think the constant switching may actually be hurting them so much.
It's not the fact that the players they're putting in are bad, it's that when you're on an Overwatch team, not only the communication, but the synergy, the camaraderie needs to be there for the team to play well. They need to really know each other, be able to talk to each other, maybe laugh with each other in order to be comfortable enough to play. Otherwise, you'll end up getting tilted, and I think that's what we're seeing. I think Downsizing, once they lost a close Game 1, ended up with the DC Dons effect of
right.
not being able to get your morale back up.
And the other thing, too, is that... You saw a switch immediately after. I think what the Downsizing has been doing is that if a player hasn't performed optimally for the match by whoever either the coach or the team leader's standards, they've switched them out for a different player. And that can, in the end, be very detrimental. You need to play with, or at least test, some more of your players' synergy, because it really doesn't come down to individual skill in this league.
Yeah.
It does somewhat. Like, I will say Atheist Jesus on the side of the Harmony, for example, has been carrying, not carrying, but like
doing a lot of
work for the team. So on the Downsizing, even if your skill isn't up there, you can still have that synergy and you can still win, because this is a team game.
Yeah, this isn't a scrim like preseason. This is the season games. This matters for seeding. And I think the best thing for Boston Downsizing right now is to focus on a core roster and try to stick to that. Make some subs every now and then. But I think if they want to win more games, they should be focusing on a main 6.
They should. Or maybe even just a main 4. If you have, let's say you have, I've seen Oops and Phantom Pulse have been two.
Yeah, I think Oops, Asa, Phantom Pulse, and maybe a DPS.
Right. So if you have 2 support, 1 tank, 1 DPS, you can switch out the other 2. And if you can have those subs work well, that's fine. But when you're switching around so many roles, when you've taken off your main healer,
yeah, I think we're only looking at 3 players that were on the original roster today. We've switched out a lot, and I think, like I said before, this may be causing more issues than it is solving.
It is a good experience, and I guess at least in this first stage, we teams can afford to experiment a bit. Like we've said, I think every week now, these matches count for seeding for the final tournament. Every team will be able to play.
Yes, I believe that is how it works. They believe everything will be going to a playoff bracket that seeding will decide who is where, but everyone will get a chance to play. It is single elimination, though.
True. So that seeding is going to be important, and the buys are also going to be important, because that's going to be some major advantage for those teams that have placed well in the league.
A buy is when you start round 2.
Community Cup.
Yeah. A buy is when you start round 2, and that is just gives you such a nice place, not having to play round 1, not having to fight your way through, and just getting able to wait and fight a team who's already been worn down a bit. Now we are going to go to Dorado for our last game, and I'm hoping Downsizing can get this a last map win.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
I think they can get a 1-3, but they do really need to work on their communication.
They really do.
And especially old economy.
We are seeing a switch. I think that says no aim.
Yes.
Okay.
No
good.
aim is in for the Harmony. The current rosters as they stand are Harmony, Jeff, Skip Bayless, Hunkrat, No Aim, Koner, and Atheist Jesus, while Downsizing is fielding Cannon Fodder, Dev, Lemley, Sephor, Phanopulse, and Oops.
And we have the lovely Bortle spectating.
Yep. And this will be the last game, so no more subs after this. And unfortunately, we still have yet to see what the map 5 is like.
Yeah, what is the map 5?
It looks like we may never know.
It's a control point always, right?
Yes.
We are going after the Overwatch League format.
Yep.
But since we played Lijiang, would it be Lijiang again?
No.
Okay, so it's
It's
one of the
probably
unused.
Oasis.
Yeah, I haven't seen Oasis.
So it may be that the way that the map pool works in the Overwatch League and thus the Community Cup is for each game mode, escort, hybrid, payload, and capture, there are 2 maps preset. Like, for example, on hybrid, you play either King's Row or Numbani. I believe I'm not sure who picks what. It may have to do with the home team picking the first map, or something like that. But in any case, 1 map is chosen from each mode, and then Game 5 is a set King of the Hill map. So that's why we've seen a lot of King's Row, a lot of Numbani, a lot of Dorado, and not, say, Junkertown, is because Junkertown is not in the map pool.
So I wonder what they're restricting from this map pool so that we can have it for that tiebreaker map.
Yeah, it's in the rules. If you type !Discord, you will be linked to the Overwatch Community Cup Discord, where you can see the rules, the announcement, join the chat, and maybe eventually play in one of the teams if you're not in already.
Yeah, they do take recruitment, and they also have been looking for people for later stages, because as these team rosters are currently more or less set, there is some changing mid-stage. There can be, but they're more or less set as the stages go on. But there are, as we've even seen in the Overwatch League, there are trades, there are players dropped. Stuff can happen in between stages.
Yep, although in this case it is less trading and more players just moving from one team to the other.
We don't have contracts.
Yeah. But I think we'll see a lot of differences between Stage 1 and Stage 2.
And it looks like we're getting yet another sub for the downsizing, I think.
Yep, it does look like, according to Bortle, one of the downsizing staff and a coach, we're going to get 1 player who's just booting up Overwatch, so it's going to be a little bit longer before we get into this map 4.
Hopefully they've been warming up with a good game like Fortnite.
Oh.
Or Osu. I can actually vouch for Osu being some pretty good warm-up for aim training.
Yeah, Osu and Aim Hero is, what was it, Bishu's? Or Fissure. Warm-up routine.
Yeah, it really is what you prefer. Do you want just a solid warm-up? Do you want to play a rhythm game? Do you want to get upset at the rhythm game? It's totally up to you.
The other day, I got a notification that Surefor was streaming, and I went to the Overwatch, and he wasn't there. And I wasn't sure where if that was like a bad notification, if it went too late. No, he was playing Osu. It's definitely a popular game among the Overwatch League players, as it really does help getting your arm warmed up.
Because as we
flicks.
know from the Overwatch League players, everyone's a bunch of weebs.
Absolutely.
That's totally true.
Everyone's a weeb here.
Come on, look at all the Genji players. Let's be real here.
Yep, and all the people who wish they could play Hanzo.
Let's look at all the anime profile pics I have seen in the Discord.
Yep.
Looking at all of you, I don't know who you are.
Or a name such as Mendo Kusai.
That's true, Mendokusai. I didn't realize.
Yep, which hopefully we'll see him play. I would like to see Houston Outlaws play their actual Tracer. And we do have Decaf coming in for Cannon fodder. And that will be the last sub as we finally go into the 4th and final map.
Oh, wow, this is like more subs than the local subway here.
Yeah. It's a lot of switching out. I think Boston Downsizing does really need to refine their core. I think what you said was best. Have 4 main players and then like switch in a couple other people. I think you don't have to have a full 6, but a core 4 is perfect for a scenario such as this.
And we are going to get into the game. Our final map of the night. Dorado. Boston versus Florida. Downsizing versus Harmony. Also, I'm going to be real unbiased right now and just say from a naming standpoint, my favorite team in this entire cup is the Houston In-Laws. I'm sorry, Boston. I can't beat the In-Laws.
Yep, it's pretty good. Now, I bet we'll be seeing a Deathball comp from Boston Downsizing again, although they have been running dive a lot. Perhaps not a coordinated dive, but a dive nonetheless. It does look like we're going to get anti-dive from the Florida Harmony.
Phantom Pulse on the Symmetra, and oops, on the Bastion.
I'm not your father.
This... Okay. Soldier.
I'm not your father. Okay, Dad.
Hey, Daddy-o.
Hey, Daddy-o. The 50s, or what is it? It is 50s,
Cruiser,
yes?
Cruiser.
Yeah, Cruiser skin is very good. Now the defense is rolling out. Harmony's getting set up on the high ground. Gotta shoot the Diablo Pinata first. Candy for the whole team. Thanks, Dad.
Fun fact, I believe someone had the voice actor for Soldier at a con say, "I'm not your father, but I am your daddy."
Oh,
Which,
oh, don't like that.
I don't either. I don't know where that voice clip is. Someone can go find
It's
that if they
somewhere out
want.
there. Soon to be patched into the PTR, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we are seeing a death ball. I don't think we're keeping this symmetric. Or
No.
are we seeing modified dive with Zarya?
I wouldn't be opposed to a Bastion, but I'm not sure we're gonna keep it. Now,
We're seeing dive DPS and heals,
1.
but
Attackers incoming.
well,
death ball tanks.
Moira's not a dive healer though. This is
okay.
going to be very difficult for Decaf, as aside from Zenyatta, there's not a lot of direct healing. I think now you'll see in the meta of the Overwatch League, as Zenyatta Pharah is more popular after the Mercy nerf. But still, it's not a lot
yeah.
of healing, and Oops really can't do much.
Not to mention there is no damage boost, and the Discord could work, but right now, Atheist is so far off.
Yeah, who's gonna contest Atheist Jesus? There is no hit scan.
They are slowly pushing the payload right here,
But here's the choke point. This is where it gets tough.
and with such a strong anti-personnel comp right here, honestly. The only thing that can stop these two are tanks.
Yep, Sephor does jump in. Oh, and a nice is gonna stop that hook, and they're just gonna walk through the shield.
Yeah, when I said the only thing that can stop these two are tanks, I didn't expect both tanks to just walk through.
Yeah, Hannibal's is low, but I think he's done enough work that the Downsizing will be able to push through.
Actually a good trade right there. Even though Ryan goes down, he takes Road with him, and the Downsizing are fairly uncontested on that first point take.
Yeah, Atheist Jesus has been the far up in here laying down damage, but hasn't actually gotten a lot done in this particular map.
No, I'm actually surprised at this point he doesn't have his ult with those damage boosts.
It is close, but yeah, not as much value as we've seen before. Still value though, as he is getting close. It might be the first person with ult.
Right. One has to wonder if this is maybe just all the shields on the side of the Downsizing, or maybe a bit of fatigue as we are into game 4.
Yep.
I will not waste this
Atheist
opportunity.
Jesus has been here most of the time. Skip Bayless goes down into a Phantom Pulse's Fire Strike, and they're just gonna keep moving forward.
I honestly like the Death Ball because Death Ball is one of the least safe comps to play Pharah against.
Yeah, despite the fact that they don't have any hit scan to contest the Pharah, they can just hide behind the shield. It doesn't quite work, but it doesn't look like Jeff has anywhere to go.
Atheist getting a really big air shot right there. Or maybe not an air shot, I think he might have been standing on the ledge. Point stand.
Now, Dev on the Zenyatta now is going to pop ult, possibly due to fear of his own life, but ends up letting Sephor die, and not a lot of value gained anyway. But the Discord is out. Atheist Jesus is going to get picked though, and this choke point, Atheist Jesus is having a lot more luck.
We have the ult. This would be perfect for a barrage.
But he doesn't need to.
He does not.
He may after this coalescence, but with already 3 down, you don't need to invest any more ults. Although Phantom Pulse seem to get a shatter and a charge, but there's the barrage, gets 1.
And that was a really good ult synchronization right there, using the Transcendence to keep him up during the barrage.
And a nice
What an
direct
air
hit.
shot!
I will
Skip
not
Bayless is
waste this
jumping
opportunity.
back, and Boston Downsizing needs to reorient themselves, maybe pick up a hit scan. They have both DPS ults that they might be looking to use before they make any swaps, but they need to do something to change
Right.
this quick.
Although 74 meters on their first push, not bad.
Yeah. They are down sometime though. Still have 3.5 minutes or so.
This is such a mishmash comp though, and I'm surprised it's working so well for the downside.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is due to the flankers having one healer and the tanks having another. Sephor might get spotted the far, but didn't acknowledge it.
No,
Oh,
that's
but
the friendly
Oh, okay, never
part.
mind. I was
No,
a
it's
little bit
fine.
confused.
Alright, and the Bane of all good, all Genji players, doesn't matter how good you are. Here comes the Winston.
Yep. And Sephor is half health. HG Jesus takes down Decaf. Sephor is fully healed, but
I'm
still
surprised.
getting harassed.
The Downsizing have, Harmony have taken this fight away from the payload though. So if the Downsizing are able to maintain some ground here, this could be good for them.
Although it's looking pretty worse for where Dev goes down. And the tanks are up here, but not a lot they can do against a Pharah. I liked the option of coming up here, but they need to start investing in their ultimates.
You're right that the tanks can't do much against the Pharah, but the Pharah can't do much against the tanks. It's really how the Pharah has been cleaning up the squishes.
That is true. Downsizing has got a bunch of ults ready. They really, with the time ticking down like this, need to use ults and switch off to hit scan or something. Rocket Barrage is out, but it's not as good as Atheist Jesus's, who gets 3.
Yeah, that was crazy good from Atheist.
Now, Decaf didn't get anything with his, and we should see a Pharah swap by now. And there is the soldier. Sephor, though, has been sitting on this Genji blade for a while, and I would like to see him use it.
He doesn't really have much space. He can. You have a Winston, a Diva, a soldier, a Pharah on the enemy team. There's not really many you can go after.
Yeah, but if that's the case, he shouldn't be playing Genji at all.
Right. If I were him, I would try and get at least one support and then dive and switch. He may actually be going for the switch right now.
Yeah, perhaps realizing what the problem is. He's going to not use ult that he's been sitting on for a while and switch to another hit scan. Decaf is going to go to the Genji. So they're going to stick with the Genji.
I don't know how I feel about that.
And perhaps it's to maybe force Hunkrat to use his Transcendence. But
Perhaps, but then you just lose the Dragon Blade.
yeah, so we'll see how it goes. It's the time has ticked down a lot. There's only a minute left on this attack when we had, what, 3.5 at the beginning?
Right.
60 seconds.
Colossus does come out to keep Boston Downsizing healthy. Shatter does come out, gets Skip Bayless and a charge. He is going to go down.
Watch over you.
Hunkrat doing his best, but here comes Genji.
Yep, Decaf is now diving Hunkrat, but doesn't get anything out of it. Ooh, and then Lemley with the grab is going to get a couple more picks. Hunkrat's going to have to back up.
We were saying static comps. I really think one of that static comps for Downsizing should be that Lemley, because he has been getting such value with his Zarya.
Yep, and there with a couple more picks, a lot thanks to Dev with the Discord Orbs. They should be able to close this out. They don't have any ultimates to do it, though. And they're very slowly pushing the payload. I'm not sure they can afford to do this. Especially with all of the ultimates on the side of
No shield for that. No one down for that, though.
Yeah, Lemley used his personal shield, but doesn't have it for this huge barrage. Death gets run over. They're not going to have a Zenyatta either. And now it's just Genji. It does get Hunkrat as a last bit of revenge, but they weren't able to close it out. I think they might have had better luck if they had 3 on the payload to close that out, but they weren't able to do it.
Switching sides.
Play sim, you cowards. Agreed.
Now here's where it needs to be. This is such a winnable situation for the Florida Harmony in their last map. They don't need to play spectacularly, they just need to play solidly.
And what do you think? We're looking like we're going to get a strong dive right here. Atheist Jesus sticking on the tried and true Pharah. Koner going on to the Genji, and then we're going to have Mercy, Zen, and your standard dive tanks. This is going to be pretty quick, I think.
Although, we do have a solid anti-dive with a McCree, and it depends on who Decaf is going. I hope he goes for another hit scan with how things have been going.
He is.
So this is a comp that should directly stop the Harmony.
And now we have the Moisey on the healing, too.
I think I would prefer a Moira in this situation, but with how clutch these defenses will need to be, given
Okay, we'll be
how it's only
careful.
0.2, I think Mercy should be good for the Reds. It's not what I would have gone with, but I understand and respect the choice.
Make sure you're careful when you're crossing the street.
Now here comes this dive with the Pharah Mercy. They have this Zenyatta, which is oh so important for the dive. This is what you want to run when you're running a Pharah Mercy dive.
Death. Whimsical today.
Death sure is whimsical on the side of the Harmony, as they've been causing a lot of it.
That is the best voice line for Zen, because you can just spam it. He goes, death, 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 death.
Sounded
Is
like a new
whimsical.
Reaper. Will we get a Talon Operative Zenyatta? Maximilian Gwen. I would love more humanoid omnics in this
Yeah,
game.
I don't know how Maximilian would play, but that seems like... I feel like he'd just be...
Zenyatta, but he walks.
Escort.
Zenyatta can already walk. Didn't you see the Overwatch?
That was a pretty hard video to watch. Now, Atheist Jesus is already getting a little bit of a flank. He's going to fly around this building, and he's already got a good position. He
And
is going to
that's
get so
huge!
many! That's half of Downsizing separated and on the low ground, making this dive so easy. Jeff gets Vanapulse, and Boston is scattered.
Man, I wish we were sponsored by HP, because we will be doing a play or of the match, and it would go to Atheist. That is almost single-handedly going to give the Harmony... Oh, wait, actually. So yeah, that is almost single-handedly going to give the Harmony this first point.
Yep, there were a lot of picks from Skip Bayless as well as Koner, but all of that started with one concussive blast.
I would love to be sponsored by HP only.
HP coming soon to Twitch.tv/AeonsAhead.
And the Downsizing have one more stretch. They have to put a stop, or they are going to lose 4-0 as opposed to the 3-1.
Yep. Now, we'll skip Bayless, he's jumped up, but Panopulse is out here alone. The rest of his team hasn't gotten out here yet, and it was not smart to start contesting the high ground.
He's falling back. Connor getting very brazen right here, but look how low that Arisa is.
He's got a blade too if he wants to let it rip, but he is going to back up a little bit. Decap goes down, so does skip Bayless. Trades aren't really in anyone's favor right now, as the spawn is a little bit closer for Boston Downsizing, but the point isn't at the end. It's here. Now, who is going to stop Atheist on the Pharah? Decap is switched to a Pharah of his own, almost has half ult. Sephiroth hasn't been having a lot of luck dealing with Atheist Jesus. Oh, and Decap gets two-shotted.
Atheist Jesus. Play after play, he has been providing so much to the Harmony.
Yep. Now, here comes a blade. That gets one, that gets two. He's looking for a third, but Dev is so high in the sky, but he's already gotten the job done. Decap goes down.
You think it's Connor, but spelled wrong? Because I prefer calling him Koner.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's Koner, because that's fun. Now, the Supercharger is out, but it's not behind a shield. Koner has a pretty easy time getting rid of it. And now Downsizing has to rush to get to the point, but here's another barrage.
And I've seen barely any blue in the kill feed, and once again,
Boston
the
just can't make it.
The Downsizing not able to get to the point. It's just too much pressure from the Harmony.
Play of the
Atheist
game.
Jesus is going to get play of the game. Well, not for what we mentioned. He still performed very well throughout the game.
He's hit so much this game. That was a triple right there. He'll probably get this too.
And for the Noobs will fall next. A lot of direct rocket hits. Even better with a Mercy damage. It was 24 offensive assists and 28 limbs. Do you think those are perhaps coincidental?
No,
Or maybe they had something to do with each other?
I don't know. We should take together. Look at that kill participation. 59 from Zen, 62 from Mercy, 72 from Pharah. That's a lot of blue.
Yep. So when we were hoping to get an even matchup, and that's what we might have seen after game one, Boston Downsizing wasn't able to make it, and Harmony does get the 4-0.
No, tonight we are in Harmony, and it looks like Boston may be downsizing a bit. We'll have to see how it turns out in the future weeks, but we do want to. I honestly want to see Downsizing have a static kind of core that they can swap players in around, as opposed to, or maybe at least make that core bigger. Because I think we saw 3 players stay throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And I think Ultimate Economy is what they need to work on next.
True.
But they know exactly what they need to work on, and that's what the league is about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll see a lot of improvement from them in the future, as there's nowhere to go but up.
Right. As far as the Harmony, look totally dominant tonight. Shout out to Atheist Jesus, who was getting perhaps some of the biggest value for that team. The one thing they can work on is that sometimes they're not as point-oriented because of how aggressive their playstyle is. I think it revolves around making space for Atheist Pharah. But, and like they also seem to fall apart a little bit when Atheist is being heavily pressured.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they had some really solid communication, really solid play, fantastic stuff.
Yep. So we'll see how each of these teams play in the future, and we will see you whenever we cast again.
The next time, but it won't be on Wednesday. Watch the league then.
Yep. So we'll see you later.